Corner number 15 for Spurs. Richarlison! In the 8th minute of stoppage time, the Spurs player who needed a lift more than any other has headed Tottenham level. Udogie won it back. Højbjerg. Richarlison. Kulusevski. Would you believe it? A virtuoso strike from Dejan Kulusevski, and this place has gone absolutely crazy.
Welcome to the Spurs News Podcast, your home for all things Tottenham Hotspur. Now, here are your hosts.
Hello everybody and welcome to a new episode of the Spurs News Podcast. I am Sam. Joining me to discuss the latest events in the wonderful world of Tottenham Hotspur. It's my partner in crime, it's Matt.
Hey mate, you alright? Do you know what? It's definitely a bittersweet feeling listening to that audio, you know?
Yeah, well, do you know what? This is what I'm going to start with. So, I love you greatly, Seb as well. But basically, this season started really well, and I'm thinking you need to keep selling your tickets, dude. Because if you attend the next home game and we are crap, yeah. So far this season you haven't been able to go, have you?
No, I'm not about to go to the Liverpool game either. But do you know? Where
yes, I mean, oh no.
do you know? Let me tell you and the listeners where I was when that amazing thing was happening.
Bring it on.
I was at a roller skating party for my 8-year-old daughter's friend, you know, and just sitting there. And do you know what? Roller skating parties or roller skating in general is fantastic if you can roller skate.
Yeah.
If you can't roller skate, it is hell on earth. And my daughter hit her elbow, she hit her knee, and I'm like, why have I brought her here? B, why didn't I just say to Vicky, look, it's not a cup of tea, let me take Seb to the football instead, you know? But we was set, so Seb had to come with me because Vicky works on a Saturday, so he had to come with me. So he's sitting there and he's become, Sam, honestly, he's become more obsessed with Spurs than me, you know?
Yep.
And he's got this app set up where, you know, normally I check on the Sky Sports app, but he's got this one where it literally just, it's on his home screen so he can just see it the whole time. So it pops up as a goal. He went, yes! And he went, oh, they've scored, because we was keeping an eye on it, and like we was all over it, weren't we? You know, and so it just felt like it was going to be us, you know. Yeah. And he spent the next 10 minutes, I kid you not, telling me how I'm really, it's all my fault that I got him into football, and if I hadn't got him into football, he wouldn't be feeling so low, and he just can't bear supporting Spurs anymore. He said it's taking too much of an emotional turmoil on me, Dad. He said I can't do it, right? I can't do it. So. Mate, I said, just be like, I said, I'm trying to be pragmatic about it. I said, these things happen, but like, it won't be the first time that Spurs have absolutely dominated a game, especially at home, and they nick a goal. He said, it just happens like more often than you think. Yeah. Trying to be pragmatic, saying, look, mate, we was never going to win the league this season anyway, so it doesn't matter. We wasn't never going to win the league. And then we were in the car, the roller party's finished, we're in the car, and he says to me, oh, Dad, it's the 95th minute, so it sounds like it's going to be a 1-0 defeat. I went, mate, just chill, because we didn't know how many minutes had been added on.
No.
And then he went, hang on, it's 1-1. And he went, hang on, it's 2-1. And I'm like, mate, do you want to take back all of what you said when it was 1-0 now, you know? I said, firstly, apologise to me, right? And then let's talk about Spurs.
First, apologise to me, and then apologise to the Tottenham gods. There is... They are up there glaring at you right now, Billy Nick, through the gates.
You know, yeah, exactly. But do you know what? Right, in all honesty, and I mean this, probably what would have happened is, especially with the way I am, and I know we've discussed it before about how I just give up and you don't. Yeah. No way in the world that me and Seb would have been in that ground.
Oh no! We would have. Could you imagine?
He would have gone down. I can't bear this. Let's just go. And I probably would have gone. Oh, right, come on.
No, you got to stay to the end.
Did you know? I mean, does it look? Because I was trying to work out because. I know not the only one who has that kind of, oh, it's all over, you know.
Yeah,
But it did look fairly full still, the stadium, didn't it? So there was a lot of people
Well,
that still had the
I'd tell you the big difference this season, the previous seasons, and I think you and Seb would have felt it if you were there. We were just hammering on the door. It wasn't like, you know, Conte ball, Jose ball of, oh, look, Harry Kane might have created a chance out of nothing, you know, and you're hoping that maybe all of a sudden the football will click and we'll score. This was start to finish battering.
Yeah.
And the thing that I loved is, you said it a minute ago, there are so many occasions I can think of where we've lost 1-0 in those games. And the team have driven me to almost having like an inverted twitch, my eye going, because their goalkeeper takes an hour over a goal kick, you know?
Yeah.
But this season, they are adding it on.
Yeah.
And at half-time, they added 3 minutes, right? And I was like, you are taking I was so angry.
Yeah.
I was like, we've just had an international break. Before the international break, they're adding the time on properly. I'm delighted with that. This is how it should be, because it has stopped this time-wasting crap. Because my thing on that has always been, that stadium is full of people. 60,000 people have paid to watch a football match, not paid to watch just going to do my lace.
Yeah.
Oh, look, the other one's undone. Just going to do that one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, actually, I'm not going to take this goal kick from the right side this time. I'm just going to walk over to the left. Would you believe it? My lace has come undone again. Hold on, everybody. No, and then you'd see that, and you'd see the ref rollicking, the referee holding his hand to his wrist, like, I'm adding this time. You'd count, like, okay, well, that's been 5 minutes. End of the game, 3. It was always 3 minutes. It didn't matter what happened. So to actually see it being added properly, I think is going to make a massive difference. And I think this game is a perfect example, because we were battering them, and they added 12 minutes. And when that went up 12 minutes, you saw they deflated. Their shoulder, you could see them look across like, oh hell. Like they've all this time wasting. Oh, okay, you know, right. Okay, we got to refocus. And you saw our energy. Like, we brought on Richie, and the manager left it quite late. And he's made it kind of clear the reason he left it late was because he knew they'd be adding the time on. He was obviously speaking to the fourth official, I'm guessing, like, you clocking this?
Yeah, it's definitely, yeah.
So he knew when he brought them on in the 80 odd minutes, they'd be coming on for like 20.
Yeah. Do you know what as well I found quite interesting, talking about the time being added on?
Yeah.
Did you watch the interview, the post-match interview from their manager on Match of the Day?
I did, yeah.
So he was saying that he was basically trying to imply that it wasn't their fault that it was taking longer, because they were set up to play out from the back, and then Spurs were coming forward, so then they had to change their plans and then kick long ball, and that was taking the time to adjust. Now, the reason why I know that's bollocks is because how often, like, even under Conte and Mourinho, we've always been like that, haven't we? We always press forward, you know? And so he knew, and especially under how we're playing at the moment, he knew that's how we were going to play, right? It's like, why would we, like, you know, it's how we play. So to say that, oh, that's a surprise, like, you know, Spurs aren't letting us play it from the back, so we've got to change it every time. You're being
his
clever,
comments
mate.
His comments were the height of delusion. I try, and I do try. And like, in the moment, I can be very tribal. You know, I can be very Spurs tinted glasses. And what I always try and do, me and you have this conversation a lot, is I try and go, right, okay, step back a minute. Am I just looking at this through Tottenham tinted glasses? If I was a neutral, if I had anything, and I kept looking at this, and I watched because I watched again, and then I watched like a replay, like a highlights thing later on. And when I watched the highlights thing, of course, none of the time wasting's in that. Why would it be? Why would that be in a highlight reel? It shouldn't be. So when you watch Match of the Day and you listen to his comments afterwards, it is easy for any fan of any other team to be like, oh, bloody refs. Now, don't get me wrong, the referee on that day was diabolical, and he should never referee a game again. Genuinely. I moan about referees a little bit, and I think everyone does. But this was like on another level. And I mean consistently bad for everybody. He was awful. Absolutely awful. But That aside, because that could be an hour podcast on its own, me just going through his just nightmare of a game. But the thing that kind of, if you're not a Tottenham fan or a Sheffield United fan, you're not going to have watched that game. If you're a Sheffield United fan with severe rose-tinted glasses, you are going to agree with your manager. The reality is, anyone else who's watched that game, neutral Tottenham fan, anyone who's actually watched the whole game, would say you got what you deserved.
Yeah.
Because the time wasting and the time being added on was perfectly justifiable. And it could have been more. You know, what they were doing, they had players going down with cramp, mate, like, oh no. So much so that after we equalised, James Maddison hit the deck and started pretending to have cramp to piss off the Sheffield United players.
I saw that. Do you know what? I heard that
hilarious.
I heard he got told off by Ange for that, but I actually love that. I love that shithousery. Just brilliant.
He got told off by Ange. He also then got booked by the referee for being shocked at the decision that the referee made. Right, the referee was having a nightmare of a game. There was a Stonewall penalty. Basically,
oh yes,
Maddison was taken down.
Yep.
If Sonny's earlier in the season when he tackled someone was a penalty, then this was a penalty all day long, but not given. Now, refereeing inconsistency is aggravating, but before VAR, I kind of accepted it a little bit better because, in my opinion, it was he must have been unsighted. It happened fast. It can happen. But with VAR, there's referees in that room who know the law. They know the precedents they've set the season to start with. Penalties have been given for less. And they look at that and go, nah, you're all right.
It doesn't make sense, does it?
No, it doesn't.
Did you? I mentioned it on last time we was together on the podcast. That program on Sky. Did you get a chance to watch it?
I didn't get a chance to watch it, but not the whole program anyway. However, weirdly, and this goes towards technology is always listening to us, I think, all of a sudden my TikTok thread was clips of it.
Oh, really?
So me and you had a little chat about it, and then I was like, oh, this is a clip. Oh, this is what Matt must have been talking about. Of course, once you watch one on that app, you get slammed. Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, now I've seen that kind of insight, like in our minds, without knowing how they come to decisions and how the conversation goes. You'd like to think that someone's sitting there and going, "What do you like? I think that looks like a penalty. What do you think?" Yeah, but I'm wondering whether it was just the chaos that you heard from previous times when they've got it completely wrong, like the Man City offside goal. You know, they can't, like, you look at it and you think, how have you not given it? How have you not said to the ref, "Have a look at this"? It's so obviously a penalty. It doesn't make any sense.
It is,
does it?
The whole thing, they have this get out clause of clear and obvious, which I think they need to do away with. The rules are the rules. If offside can be completely, this is offside, this is not offside, here's the line we've drawn, and that's it. There's no grey area. There's no, benefit to the attackers. We're not quite sure. No, we've drawn the frigging lines, and that toenail there is offside, so he's offside.
Yeah.
They've made it that way. The rules are the rules. If you get put down in the book, like that decision gets given everywhere else on the pitch. Everywhere else on the pitch, that's a foul. It's a simple blow the whistle, get on with the game, that's a foul. He does it in the box and the referee turns a blind eye. Now, if you're a referee on the pitch, now in the VAR era, I can understand, because this happens in rugby. Now, I could understand if the referee looks at that, isn't sure, hits the microphone and goes, "Review that, guys, I was unsighted." Right? So the game continues, he keeps playing it, and then in his ear, they've reviewed it, they've watched the replays, the game's carrying on, and they go, "Yep, that was a penalty." I'd understand that. And then at the next stoppage, they review it or whatever. But right now, VAR are going, "Oh, well, it wasn't a clear and obvious mistake, so we're not going to intervene."
Yeah, it's that thought process of not wanting to undermine the referee on the pitch, isn't it? That's what it is. Yeah. Whereas the first way you said with the rugby way, you're not undermining the ref, are you?
No,
because he's
the
one.
A team.
Yeah.
You are a team, and more often than not, the referee on the pitch in rugby looks at the replay. Yeah. It's like, all right, hang on, yeah, I've looked at this, I've got a good angle for you, I'm putting it up on the screen. I don't think that should happen in football, and the reason why is I think football fans are a little bit more, don't know what the word is, passionate. Let's say passionate, that's nice. And I think if you stick a thing up on the screen, you're likely to have half the stadium ready to burn the other half down every time. So I do understand that, but you've got this monitor at the side of the screen.
Mm.
They've got all this technology, all the replays. Everyone can look at it and go, yeah, that's a penalty. Ex-referees galore are going, yeah, that's a penalty. A bloody ex-referee's now set up a Twitter account, or X, or whatever the hell they want to call it this week, and he is literally reviewing every VAR thing in the Premier League, and he's got a massive following. And all he's doing is going, well, by the law, that's this. By the law, that's this. Because he's not a referee anymore. He doesn't have to go to meetings with his colleagues, go to training sessions with them, and have one of them go, oi, last week you friggin' overruled me, made me look a right dickhead.
Yeah, of course.
And that's why it should be separate. You should get together and go, right, here's the match officials for the Premier League this year. You guys are running around. You 5 who are retired referees, you're not, you're too old to go running around anymore. You are now our video referees. You are separate to this lot. You are not going to be dealing with them, and you are going to have the authority to go, right, I've reviewed that. You need to look at it. And if the on-field referee looks at a replay and goes, no, I'm still happy with my decision, then so be it. I might not agree with it, but so be it. But right now, I swear, there's too much of the whole, oh no, last week, I made that mistake and he didn't pull me on it. Oh, I won't pull him on his. It wasn't clear and obvious. And that's a nonsense.
That's the thing, isn't it? You put I mean, I know this is like it's analogous, I guess, in a way, but I used to love watching those air crash investigation.
Oh, right.
Well, I love watching them, but 99 times out of 100, it's always human error. There's always a human element of it that's caused it, and it's very, very, very rarely it's something out of the hands of the pilots.
It's aliens.
And then you see so many examples of. I mean, I know it's obviously this is like life and death, and football isn't. But you see so many examples where like the captain, one of the not assistant captain, I forget what it's called. So
co-pilot.
The co-pilot, he doesn't want to upset the captain, so he makes a decision that's not right, because the way it works, the way it's all set up in there, you don't want to upset him, and you add that human element to it, and that's where mistakes happen. And I think that's similar to this example, and it's like what you're saying, isn't it? You add the kind of, I don't want to upset my mate, and he might pick me up on this when he sees me in a couple of days. And that shouldn't be that. Shouldn't be that. That shouldn't be there, should it? It shouldn't be there, because that's how you get these stupid mistakes or these stupid decisions that make no sense.
I think football needs to learn from other sports. Generally, I mean the NFL, I mean cricket, where video analysis has been around for longer, and they need to learn from it from the point of view of the NFL, for example. The referees are mic'd up to the stadium. So when they have a decision to make and the video referees look at it like we reviewed this, they have to walk out on the pitch and go, right, video review, this is what's happened, bang, and game carries on. Now it's a slower paced sport, so you can kind of do that a bit easier. But how many times have you been in a stadium and you've got no idea what's going on with VAR?
Oh, completely, yeah.
And the time's ticking, like there's a clock going on, and you're just like, what? Was it a goal? Was it not? I celebrated. Should I not have celebrated? What the is going on?
No, that's not. I mean, I was watching the highlights, funny enough, today of the Aston Villa Palace game, and they got a goal. That's the first half they scored, didn't they? And everyone, and you see it come up on the screen offside, and it's a good 15-20 seconds later before anyone in the stadium's got any idea of what you just seen on TV. Which is it's wrong, because the people, the fans in the stadium, they're the ones. I mean, don't get me wrong, people watching on television are still paying their subscriptions to watch television. But I genuinely think the fans going, making the effort, getting on the train, going. I mean, for me and Seb, when we go to the game, it takes us about an hour and a half. But I know that there's fans that come from different countries, so they're making that massive effort. And really, I think, and I don't want this to sound like I'm downplaying anyone that is watching it on television, but I do feel like the people in the stadium should be the ones that should know first. They should.
I mean, I think it's fair. At the very least, they need to be communicated with, and not just left sat there looking at each other. I mean, I think I can think of one example where you've messaged me and I have replied to tell you what's going on.
Exactly. Exactly.
You've literally gone, Sam, what the hell's going on? They've got some review and we're just stood here. They're looking at a possible penalty, but it looks like it's bollocks. And you're like, all right, cheers.
Yeah,
I mean, that is mental. When you think about that, that is mental. Like, you've had the time to look around, get bored waiting, think, oh, I'll message Sam. He's watching. I know he'll know.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's got the frigging replays going. Yeah, and I've had the time to get your message, read it, and reply, and you're still stood there.
It's mad, isn't it?
So,
But you know what? Looking at the game in general, obviously, if those 2 goals hadn't gone in the end, we would be really complaining about this. And as if you look at it as a whole, it didn't ultimately matter, did it? So thankfully, you know,
it didn't ultimately matter because one of the rule changes around adding the time on is happened. It has happened, and it is a benefit.
Yeah.
I have got no doubt, now I've celebrated that so much, there will be a game sometime this season in the 107th minute we'll concede and I'll be pissed right off. But to me, as long as it's applied evenly in every single game, I'm happy.
Oh yeah,
you know, this has got to be a good thing.
No, absolutely.
So that aside, we battered them. We absolutely battered them. You know, you've only got to look at the stats. And their goal, I saw people get a little bit grumpy about this, and I've got to be honest with you, it's one of those things where, yeah, we could have dealt with it better, and we'll learn from it. But it's one of those things, we just defended a corner, right? And defended it well. And the ball's gone out for a throw-in on the other side. And, you know, like defensive, you have kind of, okay, it's a corner, this is how we set up, right? It was almost like because it went out for a throw-in, we didn't have that same kind of, okay, it's another corner, get set. Do you know what I mean? It's like almost like we didn't have it. So when this guy lined up and launched one into the box better than any corner I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
All of the players had this kind of look of like, oh, fuck. Like Romero went, Van der Ven went, and then this guy was at the back stick and just drilled it low, bottom corner. I do want to, and I hope this person's okay. A Sheffield United fan was celebrating so hard, went over the barrier onto a flag.
But luckily that flag was there.
Yeah, I know. Or is that's a drop? Now, I'm hoping he just rolled and then fell and was so drunk he just kind of got up and brushed himself off. But because I'm not, he wasn't clip.
He wasn't the. I mean, I'm trying to. How can I say this nicely? He wasn't. He was quite rotund, wasn't he? Is that a nice way? Right. So I'm hoping that he kind of just come off the end of that flag and sort of landed softly on his like.
Quite easy, yeah. He had some padding, and we're hoping that was beneficial, and not added to the weight of the drop, and therefore broke more stuff.
But do you know what I know this is not always the case, but you hear these stories, don't you, of like people falling out of balconies when they're really drunk, but because they're so drunk, they don't hurt themselves because they kind of just don't tense up, you know. Yeah, not as much. Yeah. But we would have heard.
I'd have thought if a guy got paralysed, we'd know. Yeah. Oh yeah. Like everyone's celebrating that guy died by it. What the fuck? I'd like to think that it would have been in the news. Yeah. But,
exactly.
So I mean, to me, it's like, I saw a load of people like, oh, idiot, you know, did all that and they still lost. I'm sorry, but at that moment, he's watched his team get battered for an hour.
Yeah.
And they've just taken the lead at probably one of the best stadiums he's been to. You know, he's having a frigging day. He's loving it. He's loving life as an away fan.
He's just lost it.
Now, I got this image of him being sat in like the frigging medical centre and then they're going, it's 1-1 mine. Oh, you're joking. No. It's 1-1. Yeah. They've equal. Oh, bloody hell. Oh, you know, well, a point's better. It's 2-1 mine. Oh, for fun. You know, he's there getting bandaged up.
or do you know an even better scenario? He gets knocked out unconscious and he's...
you still don't know.
Yeah, and he wakes up in the morning and all his Sheffield United mates are all miserable. You're not so miserable before. We won that 1-0. Oh, I've got something to tell you.
Oh, pain. Yeah, I've got some bad news. Yeah. But we won the game 2-1. We deserved to win the game. We broke the manager of the month curse. Thank all of my gods, because that was playing on my mind so bad. Tottenham winning the game that late as well also won me my first accumulator bet, and I don't know how long. Every season I start with £20 in like a little betting account, and throughout the season I do stupid accumulators like 50p and try and predict 20 odd results. Tottenham winning in that last game won me 150 quid. So that was good.
Nice. Happy
days.
I
was dead happy, but that was like 20p bet.
Did you treat yourself?
Not yet. No, I'm sure my daughter's found a way of spending it.
Right.
But yeah, a bit of news today, which is sad news, is Ivan Perisic has injured his ACL. He's likely out for the whole season, which means that could have been it. That could have been the last time we see him in a Tottenham shirt. He injured his ACL in training, not an impact injury. He was obviously just running, doing sprints or something, and buckled. He's having surgery. Very best of luck to him, because I think seeing him in that more forward role this season, we've seen the added benefit he had. I mean, he came on. I mean, the Richarlison equaliser was his assist. So I'm gutted. Really gutted. I thought he was going to have a hell of a season for us. So
It's a shame
yeah,
because we've got, you look at the squad we've got now, or the
yeah,
first 11 especially, or even like the players that played on Saturday, and there's a lot of youngsters in that team, which is good, really good. I think I shared a picture on our messenger group, didn't I, of like
you
five
did.
players, and I think the oldest one was Kulu, wasn't it, at 23, and the
Yeah,
others like 21, 26, young players.
yeah.
But I still feel like you need two or three experienced heads, and I think
Yeah, and
Perisic,
I think he was
he was,
enjoying that
yeah,
role as well.
it's a real shame. It's a real shame.
It is.
And beyond, I would say probably two best dead ball specialists in our team at the moment. I think I'd probably put Maddison number one,
Yeah,
but I'd definitely have him as number two.
yeah,
And yeah, it's going to be a big miss. We've got one player coming back now, though, haven't we, from a similar injury, thankfully soon. I've almost forgotten
yeah,
about him, Bentancur. He's
yeah, yeah.
training now, isn't he? So
He is training, and
yeah, I know a different kind of player, but
yeah, he is. And but I mean, if Benson can get back to showing the same sort of form he was showing, I think under Ange, he's going to have a lot of fun.
yeah.
But yeah, he's a very experienced player, very good player. Brian Gill is back as well now, and he's in training, getting stronger, so he'll kind of assume that role within the squad, I think.
Do you think? Do you
Um,
think? I know he's struggled a bit, hasn't he, to establish himself at Spurs. But I'm wondering whether this might be the right fit for him with
yeah,
under Ange to see the best of him, because there's definitely a player there, isn't there?
yeah, I think it's one of those things that sometimes a player just cannot adjust to a league, a country. Sometimes a player just cannot adjust to a club. You know, it's for whatever reason it just doesn't work, and then they go to another club up the road and they're brilliant, and you're like, what the, where was the, why? That doesn't make sense. But
Yeah,
it's just happened, and I think any of us who've had jobs, sometimes you can do the exact same job with a group of people and you love them and the job's amazing. You do the exact same job with a group of people who maybe you don't really get on that well with, and it's a nightmare. So,
yeah, 100%. Yeah.
so I think if he cannot find his feet under Ange in Ange's system, playing Ange ball with this team, trying to get on the front foot, and happy for a player of his ability to focus on beat your man, get your cross in, do your work, then yeah, it's not going to work out for us. I don't think. You look at we signed Solomon on a free, and Solomon's come in. I don't know about anybody else, but he reminds me the way he plays like Sonny. He is almost. He likes to come in off the wing, hit shots like curling shots. He likes to beat people with a very low centre of gravity. He's smaller than Sonny, I think. But you look at the way he's playing right now, and I thought if I was Brian Hill, I'd be looking at that thinking, yeah, I got a shot here.
Yeah.
When I'm fit, I can maybe make an impact and kickstart my career in England. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I mean, I'm very sad about Perisic. I saw that news today and I was gutted. It came out. I tell you what, the one thing I did notice today is typically when something like that happens, it leaks. Like typically, 3 or 4 people I know will be straight onto like the group I'm in and just say, "Oh, I've heard there's been a bad injury in training." There was nothing. It
Okay.
just literally broke from the club. So either they've they've managed to fix a few of the leaks, which wouldn't be a bad thing, or they just decided let's get ahead of this straight away.
Just do it straight away. Yeah.
Yeah, but the fact that they reported the injury and the fact he's having surgery suggests it wasn't like an hour ago. Clearly, it happened earlier in the week in training. He's been assessed, and this is what's going to happen. But yeah,
I
still
wonder whether.
sad for him.
Yeah, I know you said you probably the last time you see him in a Spurs shirt. It might be the last time you see him in a football shirt, because I mean he's what, is he
Yeah,
34,
I did.
35 now. So you wonder, didn't you,
Yeah,
whether.
I did think that as well, but I didn't want to say
Yeah,
it.
sure.
When I saw the news, I retweeted it or reposted it, Elon. I retweeted it.
Re-X'd it. There you go.
Yeah, I re-X'd it. Yeah, I X'd them. I know out of it. And I basically just said, like, at any age, this injury is a bad one. Best of luck, sort of thing, because that's awful. And the fact he's having surgery, I think, obviously in his mind is, I'm not done. So, I'm having surgery because I want to finish on my own terms. Now, we all know he also wanted to finish back in his home country. So maybe in his mind he's thinking, I'm not done because I got that to do. I want to get that done. But good luck to him.
Yeah, possibly.
Something happened yesterday which is rare as rocking horse shit, and that is Daniel Levy spoke to fans.
Yeah, I actually applied to go, but missed out. But hundreds of thousands.
I am not surprised you missed out.
Yeah, not many people there, was it?
I applied and I got back just laughter. I don't know what that means. I didn't get like an email with like thanks for applying. Unfortunately, you missed out. I just got back a maniacal laugh and then no. I'm pretty sure it was Donna. It was a female laugh, just like you must be kidding me if you think we're inviting you. But yeah, so there are a few other people that I know as well that applied. It were just like, I'd love to think it was perfectly random, but the fact that I applied and got an email within minutes. We've done the draw. You're not it. Oh, okay. But anyway, the fan forum did go ahead, and one of the things I didn't like about this is that it was going to be a fan forum, exclusive fan. That's fine, but they weren't going to allow the press in. Now, the press being there, not being allowed questions, I'm fine with. It's a fan forum. But when you do something like that and don't allow every other fan to know what was said, I didn't really like that. And then they said, well, we're going to put it on Spurs Play. But they said, we're just going to put selected highlights on Spurs Play. Now that goes for me into the kind of realm of, the 250 people in the room know what we said, and we're just going to let the millions around the world know the good stuff.
Yeah.
So I didn't like that. I didn't like the idea of censorship on it. However, whether enough people pointed that out, I don't know, because they've now put the whole thing on Spurs Play. So if you are a Spurs Play subscriber, if you're not, then obviously you can. I think there's like a trial period. You can watch this and then unsubscribe. You can watch it, the full thing, every question. There was one bit that I just wanted to point out on the podcast. I don't know if you've seen a transcript or seen much of it.
I saw Alistair Gold did a kind of a brief, what's the word for it?
Transcript. Breakdown.
Yeah, but he sort of done a highlight. He done a highlight, hasn't he?
Yeah, it was posted on Spurs News Facebook page. The one bit that I kind of picked out and I was going to discuss is, and I've not seen a lot of people talking about this. There were two parts. The one bit I've seen people talk about, one bit I haven't. He said about appointing win now managers. His quote, paraphrasing, apologies, I don't have the quote in front of me and my phone's dying, so I'm not going to try. It was basically along the lines of, I felt pressured. We were so close under Mauricio, under Pochettino. I felt pressured to get a win now manager, pressure from the fans, pressure of the situation. I tried it and it didn't work. He also said that he felt pressure from players. Now, there's been this interesting story since Harry Kane left about how appointing the managers, Jose, when they knew they were getting rid of Mauricio, and then appointing Conte when they did, was largely to try and keep Harry happy. I kind of understand why people might think that, and I kind of do get it, and maybe that was part of the reason. But that just makes me misunderstand Nuno even more. Like that was the summer that he was trying to go to Man City.
Yeah.
So what the were you thinking then? Like, if you were going to try and spin this narrative now of, look, he was a nightmare behind the scenes. You suffered through the bad football. It's because of him. Do you know what I mean? He was the one demanding we appoint this world-class manager, and I was just trying to keep our superstar happy. And then you're going to look at it and go, okay, right, yeah, I can understand that. I can understand what you're saying, but why Nuno then? What
we need
there?
Someone's put their hand up. We need to talk about Nuno.
Yeah. So someone in that forum, like, you can imagine if I was there and he said that, you would have just seen my hand go straight up. What the? Yeah, right here. Give me the mic. I will barge everyone out of the way because this needs addressing right now. If that is the story and you're sticking to it, my Sir Levy, That's my
So
bold amigo.
it doesn't make it any sense, then, does it? You're right.
No.
It doesn't it's basically completely goes against that
you,
because
you've kind of I do understand how spin works. Anyone who follows politics knows it better. But with big corporations and companies, and unfortunately football clubs are that now, they pay PR firms to spin it. The worst example right now is actually a celebrity divorce. Joe Jonas and Sophie Turner. Have you seen any of this? I get involved in stuff like this, right?
okay, cool.
They're getting divorced. That's sad. I'm very sorry for them. They've got kids. That's bad. But he basically hired a PR team who went out and said, yeah, they're getting divorced because she's not a very good mother. She likes to go out and party.
Jeez.
She's hardly ever home. And now this maybe 10, 15, 20 years ago would have worked, and people would have been like, oh, that woman. Oh,
Yeah.
oh, awful. Now everyone went, hang on a minute. she's like in her early 20s. Her life's public. We can see that she's been out like 5 times in this year. That's not a lot. That's not a party.
Yeah.
When she's out, she's photographed and she's out doing stuff. Yeah, that's her job. She's promoting stuff. She's not at home with the kids. She works. So basically you're saying she's a working mother and that's a problem for you. And it's just turned like as the worm is like this guy put this out thinking, haha, I'm ahead of this. I'm amazing. And the whole world went, nah, mate. We're not buying the PR spin. So this brings me back to this, which is PR spin. Unfortunately, you will get it. When big player leaves, like Harry Kane, you will see the spin. Harry Kane and his team have put their spin on stuff. Tottenham have tried to put their spin on stuff. But this particular narrative being pushed out that Kane behind the scenes was the driving force behind these managers does, for me anyway, come a little bit unstuck when in the summer he was like, I want to go to Man City. The club went, Harry, we hear you. We know you want a born winner. Here is Nuno.
It's Nuno. Yeah.
I mean,
let me tell you what he did for Wolves.
It almost feels like the club at that point had gone, you want to join Man City? You want to mess us about all summer? Right, fine. Well, you ain't going. And guess what? Guess what, Harold? When you come to work on Monday...
We don't talk about no.
Learn the words, Harold! It doesn't make sense. Anyway, so the other thing that was said in this forum by Daniel Levy, he was talking about, he got asked about the stadium naming rights, which was a great question, whoever asked that, and he basically pointed out, which is something that we've talked about a little bit, which is, if the right deal isn't there on the table, and bear in mind, when the stadium was done and we were like, yes, here we go, and COVID happened, and all the big companies that were like, yeah, we're interested, went, yeah, we got other stuff to deal with right now.
Yeah.
Sponsoring a stadium that ain't open isn't up there on our bucket list, all right? So the whole world fell apart. But his point in his answer was something we've talked about and it's valid, is right now, every time there's an NFL game with a global audience of millions, every time there's a concert with millions and thousands of people in attendance, they are attending and it is being promoted as Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. The brand of Tottenham Hotspur is now global, not just from the football stuff, but from the stadium. NFL, we've just renewed the deal with the NFL. I don't know if you've seen this.
I have,
We've extended it. And we have become the official home of the NFL in the UK. Now, that doesn't mean there won't be NFL games at other stadiums, but the NFL are now designating, if you want an NFL game, the only stadium that is purpose-built is that stadium right there. And that's now the home of the NFL in the UK. Personally, I think we all know where this is going. In my humble opinion, at some point, and this is going to piss a lot of people off, but I'm fairly confident at some point we're going to be sharing our ground. I think of the London Spurs NFL team or whatever at some point. But maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm cynical. But,
do you know what? It's interesting that you said that about, because I was always just under the impression that they just haven't named it, and that's their reason why. It's because they just haven't found the right buyer. But like you said, flip the coin over and not naming it.
Yeah.
gets our name out. So then there must have been that must I'm surely that must have been part of their thought process. I'm just go on.
I think I know, and I think that they had some very good offers and very good stuff, and then COVID hit. After that, the offers aren't the same. The world has changed, people have changed. And what they've done is they've built the stadium into a kind of a venue destination of, if you are not just sponsoring a Premier League football team stadium, which will have every Premier League home game will hear your brand every time, every computer game, all that. It's not just that. Also, 2 NFL games a year are going to be played at this stadium. For American companies, that's massive. Like, that is such a big draw. Beyonce's played there. So Beyonce will be advertising her world tour, and it will be at the a Google arena. Do you know what I mean? Just picking a brand for a second. It'll be at that arena, London. Your brand is part of that. And so what we've done is we've almost kind of, over the last few years, proved the concept. Gone, now the pandemic's over, look, this is what we've been saying to everybody. And I think they're in a position now where people are probably approaching them, like to, inquire. And we are setting a price and saying, meet this, or we're going to carry on. Because we're doing okay without it.
Yeah.
And by doing what we're doing, we are just proving the concept, and our brand is everywhere. Because right now, the Beyonce tour was at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium for 4 nights or whatever it was. Mm-hmm. Guns N' Roses were at the Tottenham, and that's global. That's massive. It's all around. The NFL are playing at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and I'm a big NFL fan, so I watch those games. And they do. The commentators, like the Fox Sports in America commentators, the NBC commentators, they do say it constantly. Here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, London, just like all the time.
Yeah.
So, you as building a brand and everything, it just works perfectly. I liked the question, and I thought the answer was very good as well. But there's quite a bit there. There's bits and pieces which I find interesting. I think the only other thing that I wanted to point out, which I felt was, as the kids would say, throwing shade, right? He was asked about Ange Postecoglou, the interview process, and what was it about Ange, and he said, Ange is a very straightforward guy. You can have a conversation with him man to man, speaks very directly, and you understand him. And you also know that he's not going to say something to you and then say something different to somebody else.
It was such a dig, wasn't it?
That was beautiful.
It was such a dig, wasn't it?
Like, Daniel Levy, I am not your biggest fan in the world, but my friend, wow, you are one catty bastard.
So do you think it was Mourinho or Conte or both that he was aiming at?
I think that was definitely Nuno, wasn't it? I don't even think he met Nuno. I don't even think he was aware he was there. I think Paratici hired that guy, and when he found out in the Man United game, he sacked him.
Yeah.
So who the hell's that in the dugout?
He's probably
appointed him.
Him and Joe were probably him and Joe were on a yacht for like a month's holiday. Hang on, what's he doing here?
Avoiding calls from Charlie Kane.
I told you, we need a world-class manager.
What the hell's that on the bench? Yeah. We're getting hammered here by Man United, who ain't that good, with some Dutch guy who I said had no personality. By the way, that's now proven to be true. Ten Hag, my God, man.
Yeah, do you know what? I got no sympathy for Man United, and part of the reason, and I know maybe it's my generation, so maybe you can kind of see where I'm coming from, but I just got Man United. Dad, it's so good that just suffer like the rest of them had to suffer.
Get relegated.
Yeah, please suffer, because I had years and years of all these Man United fans that never been to Manchester their entire life, just basking in its glory, and now they've got a team that's lost 3 of their first 5 games and are rubbish. I mean, they're not. They're a decent team, but they're not. They're no title beaters, are they?
Man United and Chelsea will end up doing okay this year. I've got no doubt about that. Am I enjoying the fact that Chelsea looked so crap to start the season?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, me too.
Right, I am. Am I so? There's a fan group who organise these tifos at the stadium in the South Stand, as you'll know. And they organised the Welcome to N17 one for Ange in the first time game against Man United. It looked amazing. And they want to organise another one, which is great. Fan atmosphere, I'm all for it. And basically fans were like, oh, what game should we go for? And all of a sudden it became Chelsea at home as the one. So they decided to put out, like, these are our thoughts, these are our suggestions, our designs. But here's a blank one. Everyone, put in your suggestions. My favourite so far was a kangaroo stomping on a blue snake. And enjoy your lunch, mate.
Enjoy your lunch, mate. It's got to have the word mate in it, isn't it?
It's got the word mate in it. Someone else did one which was just Angie's face and mate in quotations. Right, mate? Yeah. Someone else put, "This is my house now, mate."
Yeah.
So I like that.
I love it.
I like the idea personally of printing double side, right? So one side is just all white, but then Tottenham blue letters says Levy out.
Right.
But then the other side, it says Levy in, bold is beautiful. And basically, what's going on in the game, like if we're winning, Levy in. Bold is beautiful.
Do you know?
We're losing. Levy out, bastard.
Do you know what it reminds me of? You know, you see those jumpers that you get in Primark where you brush it up and there's one thing, you brush it down.
Yeah.
And it could just go up or down depending on what the score, what the score
imagine
is.
being at the stand the other end and you're just watching, oh, here it comes. You can see it gradually changing to out. Ooh, no, we scored it. Back to in. Back to Levy
It goes
in.
back up, yeah. I love it, yeah, brilliant. Oh, no one in the South Stand will be able to watch any of the game.
No,
The cards in front of them.
arms aching like hell, just holding these things up. The only problem with the tifo, and this is I don't know why people do this, but they do it, is the tifo looks amazing and it's done, and then everyone scrunches it up and makes paper airplanes and throws it at the players, and I'm like, oh, don't do that.
Well, do you know what? We've been to so I've probably been involved, obviously, because you know we sit in the South Stand, so I've probably been involved about, obviously, unfortunately, wasn't involved in the last one because wasn't in the country, but there's on 2 of the occasions they've used carrier bags. So there's like a carrier bag on the back of your seat.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
Well, you can't make a plane out of a carrier bag, can you? Just use carrier.
Also, that's bloody useful to get home, isn't it?
Exactly.
It's a free bag.
And that's what I did. I think Seb had like some sweets left over. Oh look, I've got a handy bag here. I'll pop them in. You know.
They charge 5 to 10 pence like for a little carrier bag. Now that's a bloody bargain. I'd be asking everyone around me, do you want to keep that bag? Do you want to keep that bag?
Yeah.
I've got a drawer at home that used to be full of them, and now I sell them. Anyway,
see,
sorry,
do you know what?
I've gone now. I'm on a comedy sketch.
I was going to say, I hope Stefan's not listening when it comes to bags and being in that stadium, because I know about. Unfortunately, it's such a scam, isn't it? 10 quid to take your bag.
It's a scam, but also he gets so mad about stuff like that. He gets so irate. He goes proper Essex.
See, proper Essex, yeah. Do you know what?
He goes proper Essex.
I haven't. It's funny. I was talking to someone the other day, and they said, "Oh, you're from," because obviously I live in Bedfordshire now. And there's stuff you always lived. And it's 15 years ago now. 15 years almost to the day that I moved out of Essex, and I think I've still got a little bit of the Essex twang, but it doesn't feel like home anymore. You know, it's so sad. But
it is weird because I obviously was born and raised in Bristol, and I moved to the sort of like the outskirts of it, and it's funny, like I don't ever go into actual Bristol city anymore, and they basically changed the whole city into a one-way system.
Okay.
What the it's a freaking nightmare. Like all these places, I'm like, I used to be able to go down there. Why is that closed? What? I swear they've just followed us round and gone, oh look, that's a cut through. Close that road. Oh look, that's good. That's a little. Oh look at that little rat run there. Yeah, close that. Make that a one way. And like what you were just saying, it don't feel like home anymore.
No.
Also, they've really cleaned it up, and that freaks me out. It's like I'm down in the harbour side in Bristol, looking around like this used to be a lovely drug den. What's going on there?
Exactly.
Oh,
it had character.
There's apartments of like 500 grand each where it used to be a crack house. What the?
It's mad, isn't it? It's mad. Do you know what? I know we're going off a bit of a tangent here, and always. I know. But I just indulge me. So I'm hoping people who are a similar age to us who are listening can appreciate this. But when I was young, I always used to hear older people, and they always used to go, "Oh, I just want it to be the way it was." And I'm like, "Just get with the times, like oldie, get with the times." Right? I don't know about you, right? And I'll be very brief about this because it's completely unrelated to Spurs. But are you frustrated with the self-service tills, right, and how they're just taking over the shops now? Right?
I think it is the biggest threat to humanity that we face right now.
I've had 1 or 2 Karen moments. I mean, I was in Sainsbury's and Layla was like, "Dad, you need to take a chill pill, yeah." But the worst one is I was in Matalan, right? And I don't know about your Matalan, but my Matalan, there's no tills now. It's 100% pure self-service, right? And I got there and I was buying a few bits for my holiday, And I'm like, I've got handfuls of stuff here. I want to put them on a counter. I want someone to beep them all, ask them how much it costs. I'll tap my card on and I walk away, right? That's how it is. That's
Yep.
always been, right? No,
Yep.
you've got to be taking the hangers off yourself. You've got to take the what do you call them, the security thing. You've got to take them off yourself.
Yeah.
Right? I'm
What
just
cheeky
doing
bastards.
the job.
Yeah.
Right, in the end, I was like,
I'm doing the job of a security guard as well now.
yeah, and I got someone. I went, can you serve me? She was like, I can't serve you, but I can help you. And I'm like, I'm not elderly. Like, I'm sure I'll be able to work it out, but I just want you to serve me. Right, and I'm now, unfortunately, Sam, at the age now, at the place where
Yeah.
I'm not. I just want it to go back to what it was like. I don't like this. I don't like the way things
No.
are going.
Right,
And
there
I'm
was a-
I'm old now, aren't I? I'm old.
There was a TV program on BBC called Years and Years. If anyone watched it, you'll know exactly why I'm saying this. If you didn't watch it, I implore you, if you've just listened to what Matt said, go and watch this because it is a frightening look into the future. And there's basically, we go into the future and we all become so reliant on technology, so reliant on self-service, this, like Alexa for this, all these different things. The world crumbles. The world falls apart because of it.
Oh, God.
AI and all that stuff. And this woman gives a speech at the end of the show, and in her speech she says, first they came for the checkout operators. These are people earning minimum wage, working, who were there to help you. And none of us said anything. None of us did anything. We were all too busy with our little lives just to go and scan it ourselves. But in reality, these big companies were doing away with staff, doing away with people earning a living, and we all said nothing. And every time I walk into one of these places, I walk to where the person is.
Yeah.
There might be a line. I'm going to stand in that frigging line.
Yeah, I don't care.
It's like, I'm going to talk to the person. And if it's, by the way, if it's someone my age, like, oh, morning, you all right? Yeah. And if, young people just don't get that, do they? And I know I sound so old now, but it makes me laugh when I try and engage with like someone who's clearly minimum wage teenager. This is my Saturday job, and I'm like, morning, huh? Yeah, you having a good day? I'm at work. Yeah, I know you're at work, mate. Yeah, well, you can still have a good day at work, can't you? Yeah, I suppose. I'm like, oh, thanks. It's just these bits here, yeah. Right. You got a 2 for what? Yeah. Oh, can I do a voucher? And then my favourite thing is, this is 22 whatever it is. And I'm like, oh, well, I've got the 15p, and their brain freaking explodes.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Don't
I'm so
confuse me.
sorry. Do you know what? I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to give you this £20 note, and you give me the change that the little computer tells you to give me, because I can see that what I am doing has clearly blown your freaking mind. This notion of you going, if I give you this 15p, then you just give me the even bit, you know, you can just give me that £5 note back. What? Do you know what? You do you. I'm going to leave, but thank you very much. It's been really informative. God bless the next generation. Good luck, everybody. Well, I did say as well, and I don't know whether you'll agree with me on this or not. I think generation after generation is getting dumber, and I'll tell you why I think this. It was when I was a kid, my dad knew everything. And I don't know whether he blagged it brilliantly, but radiator needs bleeding in the house, Dad knew how to do it.
Yeah.
Oh, car didn't start, Dad knew what to do to fix it. This has happened. Washing machine ain't working, Dad fixed it. The TV broke, Dad fixed it. Me, I'm now that. I don't know anything, I'm ringing him.
But we got YouTube, Sam. Like, they didn't have YouTube back in them days. We've got YouTube, so we don't need the knowledge.
There is actually a guy who's made a lot of money literally doing tutorials for stuff like stuff my dad taught me.
Yeah.
And there's people in the comments like, oh, you know, my dad left when I was little, so this is great, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm like, my dad didn't leave, I just didn't listen and learn nothing.
What interested you?
I didn't learn nothing. I was in Bristol and I was like running around the field and chasing people with sticks and stuff. Anyway, back to Tottenham.
Do you know, just very briefly, let's go back to Tottenham. Yeah, I was going to mention, you know, another thing that just briefly what Levy was talking about, the fan forum with the Kane thing with the buyback clause. Was it you or me that said send him out somewhere to win some trophies and then come back and then
loan,
like. Yeah, so it's more or less that anyway. He's coming back at it, and then he'll get his goal scoring record from it.
Mate, I don't know about
you. Don't want him back.
But since he's left, there's something about the stuff he says and the way he says it which is pissing me off. And I don't like it. And I'm trying not to. It's like I feel like at the moment that's my ex.
Yep.
got a hot new partner, and I'm jealous. So everything I hear and see, I'm like, well, fuck you. And I'm trying my best not to let it wind me up. But the other day, I saw all over Spurs Twitter, everyone was like enraged because he gave this quote and he never mentioned Tottenham.
That's
like,
right.
Yeah, of course I
Yeah.
still watch the Premier League.
Yeah.
And then he does the TV interview to follow that up. And in the TV interview, he's actually asked directly, because he was asked about Man United in the written one. So his answer makes sense when you know the full context. But then he does the TV one, and in that, he's like, yeah, of course I still look for the Tottenham result. You know, I'll probably always look for the Tottenham results for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Also, you know, I'm really, you know, they've made a really good start, and I'm really pleased for their fans. Anyone else get annoyed by that, or just because like no one, everyone's like, oh, that's better, Harry, nice one. I'm like, they're fans.
Yeah,
They're fans. You could have said, I'm really pleased for the Tottenham fans. I'm really pleased for everyone at that club. No, they're fans because we're dead to you now. Go fuck your life.
No, do you know what it says to me, Sam? It says to me,
for it.
I agree with you, and for me, it's got that sense of, oh, bless them. Like, you know, I'm with the big boys now, you know, and I was with them those sweet little kids, and like, bless them, I'll keep an eye on them, you know. Doesn't it have a touch of that to it?
Oh, see,
you know?
see, now you've pointed that out. I didn't even hear it that way, but now I do, and now I really want him dead. He plays against Japhet Tanganga in the league game coming up soon. Japhet, you can do the funniest thing in the history of the world. I beg you, take him out.
Take him out.
Take a red card. Come back to this club a friggin' hero. There will be a statue now. I can't. I don't know why it winds me up so much, but it really does. And I kind of look around. I'm like, everyone else looks really happy with what he said. And I'm sat here pissed off. It must just be me.
No, it's not just you. And you know what? I think for me, right. So like, when Bale went, and like I think some of the big ones, when Bale went, when Sheringham went, Bob, stuff like the big players that we lost, you kind of was like, oh, you know, they almost. I mean, you look at them like a stepping. I mean, the Bale one, as much as you hate to say it, Spurs are a stepping stone from Southampton to Real Madrid. We are we're not Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Like, you get that, yeah. But I think with Kane, because he'd been with us for so long, and like, you know, he was one of our own, and we put so much, we invested as fans in so much into him. And don't get me wrong, you know, he put a lot in himself, and like, you know, the records speak for themselves, for itself. But it's almost like you expect him to be more. Like, I know he's at a new club, and he doesn't want to, like, he's at a new club now, and you know, he wants his fans to buy him to be happy. I get that, yeah. But it's almost like you just forgotten about us. It was like, it was that 7-8 years of like, I know he was at the club for a long time, but the 7-8 years when he broke through, it's like, do you feel like it doesn't really matter to him? Like, it feels like he's just.
The issue is for him in that respect is he conducts himself in his opinion, I don't agree, but in his opinion, he conducts himself in a professional way, and his way of conducting himself is to be neutral. Whenever he speaks, he's England captain. In his mind, whenever I talk, I'm the England captain. So as England captain, I can't be talking like, well, yeah, Tottenham, they're going to win the league. Come on, you Spurs, come on. I'm the England captain. I now play for Bayern Munich. Therefore, I'm like, yeah, of course I'll look for the Tottenham results. Yes, of course I still watch the Premier League. Yada, yada, yada. Chat. Look at me, I'm talking, da, 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 da. It's very mechanical, PR-driven, like he's been coached what to say, and that annoys me. You've got a guy like Eric Lamela. Eric Lamela was with the club a few years, fell in love with the club, fell in love with the fans. He still, even though he's at Seville, will celebrate a Tottenham win like he scored the winning goal.
Yeah.
Like, he is all over, like, all the Tottenham players after that comeback win were posting stuff, and Lamela is in the frigging comments in all of them. Like, loved it, that was amazing. He like even posted a video of him playing a game recently with his Tottenham Hotspur Xbox controller. You know, I think he's playing Ben Davies at something online. The guy has left the club. He's playing for a new club, respectful to that new club. You know, he plays well for that team, plays hard. They love him, but he hasn't like disassociated himself. Which you can find a balance. You don't need to be, you know, Kane doesn't need to be posting every week. Come on, you Spurs. No, he doesn't need to do that. No, but when he's asked a question, he can answer not like a robot.
Yeah, that's right. You're right.
He could have said,
he does.
of course I still look at the Tottenham result. I love that club. I was at that club for my entire footballing life. So of course I'm always going to look at it. Brilliant friends still there. Like Sonny's doing an amazing job. I'm delighted for him. but I'm at Bayern Munich now, and my focus is on the Man United game. Bang, bang. Every
Yeah.
Tottenham fan is happy.
Yeah.
and
Yep.
and he's answered it professionally. He said, of course I love them, but I am focused on this. And that's it. Job done. But it's too much like it was their fans. It was their fans. I was like, you food off. But I said, it really annoyed me, and no one else was annoyed. So I was like, hold me back.
Sam.
Oh no, thanks, mate.
No, I was annoyed, mate. I was annoyed.
If we'd been in a
I'm
bar,
sure we weren't the only
you'd have
two.
held me back, so I'd have been shouting.
Oh yeah, I would have
hold
held
me
your
back,
coat.
Matt.
Yeah.
Hold me back, you motherfucker. Yeah. I'm gonna smack you in your forehead. Anyway,
Do you remember
right.
just briefly? Do you remember talking about Lamela? Do you remember Stefan Freund when he used to come to games and put a Spurs shot in? He used to be in the stands wearing Spurs shirt as a Spurs fan.
Yeah, whilst he was a coach at another club.
Yeah,
Stefan
exactly.
Freund, like, I got this weekend off. Great, I'll go watch Tottenham. Yeah. Some people fall in love with it and they get involved in everything. And when someone comes through the academy and you call them one of your own, and they are the record goal scorer for you as a football club, having come through the academy and everything, you kind of have that feeling that they're going to feel a little bit more of affection for you than yes. They do appear to be doing quite well, don't they?
Sam, you've hit the nail on the head. Bang on. That's exactly, you've encapsulated how I feel about it.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
it is, without a shadow of a doubt, the game I look forward to the least coming up. I hate the North London derby.
Oh, don't.
I hate it. I hate it because I endure it. The one at the Emirates, I hate the most.
Yeah, we only won once there, haven't we?
Oh, yeah, Yunus Kabul, was it? I don't know.
Yeah, it was.
I hate this fixture. I hate it with everything that I have. And going into it this weekend, the main reason why I'm just like lowering my head and everything is not because I don't have an expectation we're going to play well, because I think we will. I think Ange has shown that we as a team play football now, thank goodness. It's this feeling of there is so much pent-up anger in the fan base, like real under the surface, like a volcano. When Conte went, it erupted. And all through the summer, during the manager hunt and the transfer window and everything, it was simmering. You know, Tottenham only had to post like, hey, everybody, you know, we've decided to donate to save these young orphans. And the comments would have still been, die, we hate you! You know, they could have posted anything and it would have just been vitriolic. They brought in Ange, massive kind of mixed reception. I'm going to hold my hands up. I was mixed with it until I spent the time to learn about him, which I think is a lesson for me. I think perhaps a lesson for everybody. Who the hell is this guy? Rather than going, an Australian? What the friggin' hell does he know about this? Let's go, oh, we're talking to that guy. I wonder why. And so that was a lesson for me, and I'm really glad I learned that lesson, and he's come in and he's done everything I hoped he would, and I'm delighted with that. But for me, I saw that nasty element again when we were 1-0 down. On social media, across everything, it's like right there. It is just there. You lose to Arsenal, that will become so toxic again, so fast. And I'm like, for me, this is obviously my opinion. And I hate that. Like for me, it just feels like it's right there. And obviously, I want us to win every game for the rest of the season anyway, because I want us to win every game all the time. But like we lost to Fulham, and it kind of felt like right there, it was this real narky anger. Clearly, the club has no ambition to win a trophy. You feel it a weakened team in a cup competition. Every manager's done that, so clearly that's a directive from the top. Levy out. We want you all dead. And then we won our next league games, and everyone's like, "We're playing really great football. I'm still angry at Levy, but I love this damn team. I love these players."
Yeah.
And now you're at this Arsenal game. Now you go there and win. I think you create a bubble of protection for a good few weeks.
Oh yeah, it gets him at least a month's past, doesn't it?
It does. Like you then lose to Liverpool and a couple of other games. They are still going to be fuck you, Arsenal. We beat you. We beat you at your ground.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it buys you that. You go there and you lose. My fear is that Ange is carrying the baggage of the last 4 years, whereas like it's not. None of it would be aimed at him. but I think it could really impact, if the whole stadium's then angry again. You think about towards the end of last season, every game, Levy out chance.
Yeah.
Every game. Not heard it once this season.
Do you know what though? Just briefly, I think I see where you're coming from.
Yeah.
I personally don't think that it would be as bad as you think it would be if we were to
Okay.
lose. And part of my thought process as to why it wouldn't is because, like, you look at what how he's like, you look at the team that played on Saturday, for example. It's massively changed, and there are players that we had, like for example, Udogie is one of them, and Sarr, players that we've had. I mean, Udogie wasn't playing for us last season, although he was a Spurs player, he was on loan. So it's players that we've had. Do you know what I mean? That we're bringing in, couple that with some of the new signings. I feel like it feels so different. It just doesn't. It's a like Romero, for example, seems like a different player. It doesn't seem like that angry player that wants to kill everyone and break everyone's leg.
Yeah.
It just seems. And did you see that? Did you see the there's a little. You must have seen it because I know you see everything that gets posted. The little video clip at the end of the game with
Royale.
Yes, and he's trying the shithousery, and Romero stops him, right?
Yeah. So at that point, did you think we're in the Matrix? Something.
Yeah. So squiddy. Yeah. But
something's gone wrong.
The part of me was thinking that, but another part of me was thinking it's a completely different team. Like the way we play, the plays we've got, and I know there is still two or three. Or more maybe. I mean, even Richarlison. I mean, like I felt bad for I've felt ever since I made the comments I've made for him on the last podcast. I've been feeling bad, and I felt terrible, even worse after he came out and said, about the fact he's been suffering from, and I do love him. I mean, like I say, I know he looks like he's a bit confused sometimes, but I love, what he did was amazing, and to come out and say that as well. But I just feel. It feels different, and like you said about right at the beginning of the podcast about if me and Seb would have probably walked out, but then would we have? Because it feels like it's a different team.
Yeah, I think you'd have stayed.
Yeah, and I think I said to you as well how I said to Seb when I thought we'd lost 1-0. We were never going to win the league, so I know I can. I try to be pragmatic, and I know not everyone is, and there's a lot of hot-headed fans that just get angry whenever there's one. But I'm wondering whether Postecoglou might have brought some pragmatism into some of the fans, and look at we are playing attacking football. We've won most of our games in the league, so. I think that might have got in the past for Arsenal. I'm hoping we don't lose, but I'm hoping if we do, kind of what he's done, how he's changed the team, how he's freshened everything up, just a completely different outlook to the team. Fans might go, all right, especially if you play, because I know what you're saying about the Fulham game, and I think a lot of the reason why people are angry is because he changed so many players, and I get that, but he's going to play the absolute strongest team he can obviously on Sunday, so you haven't got that as an excuse. So I got a feeling that if we were to lose, and if we were to lose and we play really badly, which is possible, then fair enough. But if we go out like we have been playing for the last few weeks and lose, I don't know. I feel like he wouldn't get as much as a backlash as maybe you're fearing.
Okay. Well, I am hopeful, and hopefully you are correct.
Well, I hope I'm not correct that we lose.
No. Hopefully you are correct at that. Hopefully we'll go there and win, and then it's as Joey from Friends would say, it's a mood point.
Yeah, exactly.
So a little while ago, so last season we did a predictions thing, and they were alarmingly, hilariously wrong. We made predictions before the season started, and then we looked at them again at the end of the season, and all of us kind of cried. We're going to do it again this year, and I started it. Unfortunately, not everyone's been able to log their predictions in yet, so what I thought I'd decide to do, rather than it just being the admins for Spurs News and the podcast hosts, I'm going to open it up to all the listeners as well. So at the end of the season, we can go through what everyone predicted and see if anyone nailed it, okay? So for everybody listening, what I need you to do is email to sam@spursnews.co.uk. That is Sam, S-A-M, @spursnews.co.uk. Your predictions for where Tottenham will finish the season in the Premier League, so their position, who will be the top goal scorer, who will get the most assists, and this is the one that's most controversial, will Ange Postecoglou still be the manager? Because we don't normally finish seasons with the same manager for the last 4 years. So I'm not just asking it being narky, it's a genuine thing. We've not done that for a while. So do you think this season's going to finally break that trend? Okay, so everybody, get that in. By the time we do the next show, everyone who's done it, you'll be a part of it. And if anybody gets it absolutely nailed on, I'll find some sort of prize for you. I don't know what it'd be, but yeah, it'd be something. Probably a new shirt, you know. Nice. The OnlyFans link for Laura. I don't know. We'll come up with something. But that, yeah. Mate, that's it. That's the show. Unless there's anything else you wanted to talk about this week.
No, it's a bit of a difficult. I think it's a bit asking people for their prediction now is a bad time, isn't it? Because we're so happy and high at the moment, aren't we? And you're going to get a lot of high predictions, I reckon.
Well,
but
I did mine before the season started, and I'm sticking to it because that was my prediction. I've written it down, and it's there. Okay. So next week I will make sure I caveat that and tell everybody. Right. But yeah, by the next time we do the show, get them into us. The show will be out again next Thursday. So we might record Wednesday or Thursday, so try and get them in before that, over the weekend if possible. Don't hang on and see if we win the North London Derby and then make your prediction. That's lame. Do it before. But yeah, I mean, best of luck to the team. Good luck to Ivan Perisic for his recovery as well. But yeah, just please go and beat them. You have no idea what it means to me. Please, please, please go and beat them.
Please.
But until next week, everybody, you all take care.
Take care, mate.
Thank you for listening to the Spurs News Podcast. We hope that you enjoyed the show. Stay up to date with all things Tottenham. Follow us on social media. All links are in the podcast description.